Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. And if you've been following me of late, you know I've bailed on Facebook. I basically felt that Facebook's run its course. It will maybe have another victory lap with Metaverse. But at this point, I think Facebook is on some soft ground and will be replaced through artificial intelligence or eliminated as a major advertiser. And so I've raised about $50,000 selling my Facebook stock, and now I have to look to find some place to put it. And what I'm guided by is artificial intelligence and electric vehicles. I don't want to own the car companies. I want to own the companies that are going to make the cars work and make them something that you want. I right now don't want one because I'm not excited about something buying brand new technology, nor am I excited about their battery life or the availability of chargers. But I know that this is going to be a major part of our world over the next 5 to 10 years, so I want to get into it. And that's what this video is going to be about. But I've discovered something else that I think I need to share with you. I've been reluctant to get involved with Robinhood and Webull. I have felt that they were a grade school entrance into the stock market. And I got contacted by Jenny, and Jenny works for Moo. That's right, Moomoo. And Jenny claimed that her mobile app is the best mobile app in the world and will put my E-Trade and Schwab accounts to shame. I thought that was a challenge. So she even added more challenge to it. She offered me 10 free stocks if I would deposit $2,000. Well, I took her up on her challenge, and I was blown away. I swear to you, my mornings start by going to my mobile app on Moo, because it gives me the pre-trade as they happened. It gives me charts and graphs that I can't get anywhere else. It blew me away. But what I also realized is I needed a tutorial. And so I found a young guy, this is him, and he taught me in 13 minutes the basics of this mobile app. I then uploaded it onto my desktop, and once again, I was blown away. So I want you to look into it. Jenny has extended the 10 free stocks offer to you. There's a link in the description to that. But first, go and see my young man's tutorial on it and let it open your eyes, and then go take a look at it. Okay? Again, I want to repeat a word: blown away. Oh, let's get to the 6 stocks that I want to buy with roughly 1/2 of the money that I freed up by bailing on Facebook. This is not financial advice. This is Kerry educating himself and keeping on track. As some of you said, you're a flip-flopper. Hell yes, I'm a flip-flopper, because I try to learn something every day. And if I learn something that tells me what I thought yesterday was not true, or something has changed to make what I thought yesterday not true, I act on it. And I act swiftly because I want to invest in the future. This is not financial advice. Do not get me wrong. This is the best financial education you're going to get, and all you have to do to get it is do this.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, as I said, I've liquidated my Facebook stock yesterday, and I covered the whys and wherefores of that in my June 13th and June 14th videos. These are the thumbnails. I suggest if this interests you, that you go back and take a look at those videos. So I've raised $50,000. 25,000 of it's going to go towards some of my big six, which is now down to big five. And the others are going to go into 6 stocks that are basically driven by artificial intelligence and what I've learned about electric vehicles as a result of a video that I did on Apple's entry into the electric vehicle business. This is the thumbnail from it. And so let's cover the artificial intelligence stocks first. What I believe is that over the last 40 years, we've been collecting data, and that data has been from every book that has ever been written to every piece of information that Google, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and the rest of the world has been able to glean from us. Now, some of the information is not available to them, but I become aware of a company called Accelera. And Accelera is a bunch of young geniuses who understand artificial intelligence and went to the pharmaceutical companies and said, look, you've got all these lab technicians that are working independently to try to find antibodies and cures and vaccines for the things that we get sick from, and they don't have a functional way to compare their results. And you work as silos, so you don't have the benefit of other pharmaceutical companies. And they've made a contract with 20 pharmaceuticals. Now, I don't know if they share all their information amongst the 20, but in essence, what they do is now the technicians basically enter their findings into a software program that is driven by artificial intelligence. So if Lab Technician 101 does some work that is relative to Lab Technician 201, they compare their results, and the next morning they say, based on this and this is what you should be doing. And they're showing that as a result, they can cut the time that is required to find antibodies and go through, I think it's something like 30 million molecules, and they can cut the time down from 6 years to 6 months, and they see it from going from 6 months to 6 hours. Okay, so this is a company that is in the cutting edge of that area. It's currently selling for about $8 a share. So I'm going to buy about 240 shares, and that'll add to my current holdings of, I think it's about 140. Then there is Palantir. I was challenged by Bob, one of my tribe members from Ireland, to look deeper into Palantir. And what I discovered when I went on their website and when I watched videos of their CEO, that these are the people who are doing the same thing that Accelera is doing in the pharmaceutical field. They're doing it in basically every other field with a concentration on national security. They're basically coming into a company and saying, this is the data you've collected, this is the data that exists elsewhere. If we can put it together, how can we make your business more efficient and more functional? And rather than just make money for you, create a better experience for your customers. Because truly, that is what the Digital Revolution 3.0 is going to be. It's going to be empowering companies to make their clients' experiences more rewarding, more profitable, and more enjoyable. So I'm adding to my holdings of Palantir by about 5,000, or selling at about $7.60, I'll buy another 657 shares. Then we get into the automobile business, and this was driven by a video I did several weeks ago on It said I'm selling Apple stock to buy into Apple's EV movement. I actually have decided not to sell the Apple stock, but instead to take some of the proceeds from my sale of Facebook and invest in these companies that I think are going to be a major part of Apple's entry into the automobile business. The first one is Luminar, ticker symbol LAZR. I've watched this stock for probably over a year. It's been beaten up. It's been as high as $40 a share in December 20, and it's down to about $8.34 a share now. And basically what they do is they make the most efficient radar laser system that sits on the top of the cars and sends out beams to pulses to find out how far that object is from you and what direction it's going, so that your vehicle can move down the highway unobstructed and safe. And so it also would measure that if somebody stops suddenly in front of you, your car automatically stops. You know the gig. That's what Luminar does. LAZR, and they're the most efficient, they're the least expensive, and this is going to be, I believe, and then in the video, go back and watch the video, I tell you that two ex-Apple executives now run the company, so they've got a direct line to Apple. So I believe Apple will be the first big auto entry who will basically put the blessing on Luminar, and this $8 stock will turn into an $80 stock in pretty quick order. That's what I believe. Then I'm also interested in quantum space, ticker QS, currently selling for about $10 a share, has been as high as 132. And what they're doing is they're basically saying the future of the battery is not going to be a liquid battery, but it's going to be a solid state battery. And what that's going to do, that I think is very important, is it's going to give us longer mileage. Right now, you're pressing it to get 350 miles out of your vehicle. Well, for me to go to the beach, I'm going to have to charge somewhere along the way. And then I'm going to have to find a charger. With a solid-state battery, they estimate that you'll be able to go 1,000 miles. At that point, there are no obstructions to electric vehicles, and that it will charge much faster than the liquid state battery. But they're more expensive. But what I believe is the high-end cars will all switch to this technology, the solid state, and QS. And I think the first company that will bless it with their top-end car will be that of Apple. So I'm going to buy, what did I say? In QS, I'm buying about 500 shares at $10 a share. So I'm putting about $5,000 in there. And I'm looking today. The market is up. I'm gonna pick some pennies and try to buy them as best I can. The next one is Ava. Ava is a different company. It's probably if Luminar is 2.0, Ava is 3.0. Luminar puts out a pulse. Ava puts out a beam, a solid beam. So it's more accurate and more efficient than that of Luminar, but it's also more expensive. Again, I see this as a stock that will be in the more expensive vehicles. So this and QuantumScape are a little further down the road. Ava's ticker symbol is AEVA. This is a $2.86 stock. So here again, I'm looking to put about $5,000 in it. That'll buy me about 1,666 shares. So that's again a play. Then the thing. I was reading another article. I get these articles from the gurus. These are the people that want to charge you $5,000 for all their best information. Well, I pay it. And then I spread the cost with my platinum members of my of my Patreon at our Discord. So in essence, what I'm saying is, hey, rather than all of us pay this guy $5,000, I'll kind of do it behind the curtains, and then I'll share the information with you. And that's where I came up with these stocks for Apple, and that's where I came up with Plug Power. In this article, they made the comment that, look, somebody's got to become the Shell or the Exxon of charging automobiles. And Plug Power has the technology that is going to lead the way. And so I'm going to make a bet that, and what I honestly think will happen is one of the fuel companies, one of the gasoline companies will buy Plug Power. So it's currently selling at about $14 a share. I'll buy about 357 and put about 5,000 in that. Why am I doing this? Because basically, I believe we live in a world that is going to change more in the next 10 years than it has in the preceding 100 years. And some stocks are going to lead that way. Now, I believe that where the other half of my money is going to go to more shares of Apple, Google, and Amazon. And that is because they have the money. They have the knowledge, they have the technology, and they will lead this charge. These companies are going to need support, particularly in the AI field. They're going to need access to the past 40 years of data, to all the books that Google has digitized. They're going to need that, and they're going to need the software to make that happen. Well, the people who have the computing power and the software are Apple, Google, and Amazon. So I want to own more of that. I'm actually focusing my portfolio. You're going to see I'm going to probably liquidate some other things that looked like bright shining objects to me in the past. And I know some of you are saying you're just a flip-flopper. Hell yes, I'm a flip-flopper. I'm not just going to close my mind down and say I'm not going to learn anything today. That's suicidal. If you aren't reading, if you aren't studying, if you aren't taking Jenny's email and saying, Carrie, you need to look at Moo and learn that it is not another Robin Hood and it is not another Weeble. And oh, yes, it is owned by a Chinese company, Futu, I think it's called, the largest brokerage company in Asia. Okay, but they have an office in Palo Alto, and they're controlled by the NASDA, and they're listed on the exchanges, and I'm only putting $2,000 into it, but I believe I have to stay abreast with change. If I don't, I will be buried in this stock market. It's moving fast. It's moving faster than it ever is. If you don't understand Moore's Law, Google it. Understand it. And he was talking about 18 months. It ain't 18 months anymore. It's down to about 6 months. You watch and see what happens in this medical cure business and genome sequencing and genome editing. And if you aren't staying attuned to it, you're going to be left in the dust. Well, that's what I want to do. I understood. I looked at Facebook and I said, where are they going? And then who is using them? And when I asked my 3 grandkids, and they said no, well, who's the future? Is it me and you? Is it grandma and grandpa? Or is it the kids? You have to stay attuned to the future. Whether it's Moo, Facebook, Apple, Google, or QuantumScape, I don't care. You must stay. If you're going to play in this game, you gotta stay in tune with what's about to happen and recognize change. We had the biggest change in any of our lives, and that was the coronavirus, where it basically said, if we don't clean up our act, if we don't come to understand the diseases that can kill us, this civilization will be eliminated. This can never happen again. That is the biggest change that has happened in your life, in my life, and I've lived longer than you. So I have to react to it. And if that makes me a flip-flopper, so be it. I'm going to make money off of it. What are you going to do, boy? That was a referral to Meatloaf. Pleasure by the Dashboard Lights, just to keep you up.